Did take a look at those loot bet odds before coming in, talking about those odds. Mike, 1.63 going the way of MY, 2.14 for Execration. It looks like MY, even after Game 2, have come out as the favorites in those odds now, which is an interesting turn of events. We'll have to see if that carries through as the match goes on. The Nyx coming out for MY does signal that this might be our offlane Brewmaster for Seri instead. They needed lockdown for the puck. Nyx is a great solution to that already. So they've got the Spike Carapace and Impale. But Execration, they go with the Magnus Puck combination. So they've got the Dream Coil Skewer to get the break off on the leash. They've got the RP. They've got a way of enabling that big hero for Palos on the safe lane to carry through. Question now is this a Raging Potato Puck or a Raging Potato Magnus? It could go either way. Bob could play either one down mid as well.
That is very true, John. That is a very good point. You've got a lot of flex here, and I think you kind of prefer the mag in the mid lane these days. Like it does feel like it's a very kind of level dependent on hero. You obviously want to max that in power. You have the side camps. You can argue the same thing for the puck, but I guess puck maybe is a little bit more flexible at the moment. We'll have to wait and see. Could also run the POS 1 mag, don't forget. So you've got that option as well. Just a very flexible kind of opening here from Execration. And why? They're going to go back into the LC, it seems. Now, we had a very nice LC performance earlier on from the side of MY, but Execration, they'll go into the Lifestealer. That being said, LC does do pretty well up against Lifestealer, I believe.
Where do they lean the Brewmaster, though? Is that a Brew mid coming out now for MY? It's a confusing draft. Like, they're doing something different here. Grimstroke Nyx are probably your supports, but who goes safe, who goes mid, who goes off? That's the big question for MY. Execration, much more straightforward. Lifestealer to tie it up. The last flexibility here for Execration is a BDZ puck. So if they don't want the puck on the offlane for Raging, I mean, you could run a puck 4, AA5, something else for Raging to close out with, but I don't think they're going to flex that hard. But it's still possible. It really depends on what MY starts to reveal. They don't have last pick overall for Execration, so they're going to show their hands first. I like the Lifestealer in this case. You infest into the puck, Magnus, RP combination's great, Empower to boost your damage, and to fix your farming issue early on. So you can get a decent amount of gold flowing for Palos here. We'll have to see if they're going to get that space out. MY, I don't know how you close out this draft. It's maybe LC mid is what you go for. Brewmaster off lane. Brew mid is, I guess, doable. You can clear out camps anyway. You can go to the small camp fairly all right, and you're durable. I just don't know how it fares against the matchup of Puck or Magnus. It's not very common nowadays to see that.
Final pickups here. Execration. This will kind of reveal what's going on. I believe we're about to see a POS 4 pickup, unless it's like the BDZ POS 4 Puck or Magnus, which, I think we've seen those in the past from BDZ. He's one of those players where he can just kind of run anything in that role. We'll see what the plan is. They've still got all their reserve time on the side of Execration. They aren't going to use any of it. They go for the Rubik. There you go. I was asking for it the last game or the game before, but here it is. BDZ Rubik is now on the table. In terms of stealing things, Impel quite nice. Obviously Brewmaster Split pretty nice. Soulbind pretty nice. Stroke of Fate pretty nice. Press the Attack pretty nice. I'd say it's still a very good Rubik game.
Yeah, it's a solid Rubik game, especially with even just Press the Attack. I think that might be the safest and best spell to steal, just because you're going to have a way to save your course every single time, and that will enable them to re-engage. MY with their last pick, they're going to have to show what exactly they have in mind. Like, again, the Brewmaster and the LC here are very confusing since they're not supports. They go with a Spectre, so that's the big win condition. My issue is, how will that Spectre farm?
Yeah.
Because we've seen Spectre really struggle in the farm game. You're up against a Lifestealer with a Magnus. It's tough to keep that same pace up. That is going to be our BB Brewmaster and our Seri LC. So it's a mid-brew up against Bob's Puck. I don't know what a Brewmaster does there. Like, that matchup it's something Brewmaster can play with at the same time. You've got a range disadvantage. You can clear out the creep wave with your Thunderclap and Cinderbrew, I suppose. You can also dip into the jungle, but feels like the puck should have a pretty good grasp in that lane overall. Mind you, the AoE on the clap is pretty big for the Brew, so as long as BB kind of throws his body forward, he can get some opportunities to trade. Issue is exactly how well those trades will go. So we'll have to find out. Very different drafts from both sides to close out. It looked similar for MY until they flexed the Brewmaster mid. The question now, the only thing to watch out for now is how well that Brewmaster mid will perform.
I'm very intrigued to see how this draft goes, but yeah, I'm gonna ask you the hard question first, John. Who came out with the better draft? You tell me.
I would stick with Execration, but
Sure.
I can see situations where MY can play super fast. Like
Yeah.
they've got the LC Grimstroke Nyx is the key combo for their mid-game ramp up, especially if Seri hits a good blink timing.
Yeah.
So they just blink duel again, catch the puck out. There's more pressure on Seri to get that initiation. I mean, the Nyx is there, and that's a much better piece to start off with compared to the DKLC we saw in game 1. So it's safer to lock in Bob, but I think we need to see that same pace from game 1 where Seri was just all over the place, getting dual wins, forcing rotations out to kind of stop Execration from farming on the mag Lifestealer. That's what MY should aim to do, while buying KNP some space to farm and really get that Spectre to the point where it's big. It'll take a long time, but eventually the Spectre is going to feel pretty nice. I don't know. I just find it so hard to justify Spectre nowadays. It's just so slow in farm, in scaling, and in the power spikes it hits. It just takes forever to hit those spikes.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It is quite hard to see the Spectre doing well, but let's see what MY has up their sleeve, and let's see if Execration can ride the momentum into a match victory here as we do bring up the loot bet odds once again. Seems like Execration are favored. Still very close, $1.58 to $2.24. So it seems as though the betting crowd right now is still favoring Execration. And I'd say the momentum does matter, right? Like after a long game 2 like that, it certainly does feel like the momentum is going to kind of kick in now for Execration. And I'd say as well that their draft just looks a lot more easier to run.
Yeah, their win conditions so much easier to pull off. Their team fight's a lot more solid. RP, Ice Blast, Dream Coil. They've got great spells to steal for BDZ, and he is a demon on this Rubik. Just probably one of the best Rubik players in Southeast Asia. At least that still plays it now. You know, we don't tend to see a lot of players lean into the Rubik as much.
Oh, he's straight. He always was one of the best. Yeah, he always was one of the best. This guy, he just makes the hero look unbelievable.
Yeah, he's just on point with it, and I'm keen to see BDZ deliver that performance. A Raging can kind of do the same plays he did with the Sand King, except the cooldown on the RP is a lot longer, but the skewer plays he can pull off if he replicates the Sand King can be massive as well. So we'll have to see if Execration can kind of reel that back their way. No big scuffle over the runes. Sports World managed to get the D award, so they at least get some gold back and secure some lane advantage here on the mid, but no big scuffle so far.
Well, nice little opening here for MY, getting that Observe Ward in that mid lane. Tigger, rather, is going to find RR again. We've seen this before. Poor RR always cops the short end of the stick as Tigger, he's going to go for a few body blocks, get some damage up onto the AA, but in the end is obviously going to have to let him go. I say that, he's going to catch up again and get a few more hits in on poor RR. In fact, he does throw the Impale out. And while we're here, we may as well talk about the top lane. We will see poor RR and Tigger with Seri and, of course, Palos. I think I said this already during the draft, but as the levels go up on the LC, it does become a much harder matchup for the Lifestealer.
Yeah, it's just very passive for Lifestealer. I mean, you can maybe look for Cold Feet Vortex plays down the line or Cold Feet Chilling Touch plays, but the LC is fairly tanky, Nixus as well. You're not going to be able to rip through. If you can trade right clicks with the LC, I think the Lifestealer has a bit of a nice time because of his passives, but your base damage difference is big. Seri's hitting for 70 on average compared to the 54 in Palos, so 58 in Palos, so it's not the best way to trade. And once you have the levels up in Moment of Courage, that can turn around.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
you just have to kind of play the slower lane.
That's the point where you kind of feel like you could just kind of out-hit Palos and the Lifestealer, but he kind of had to go for the overwhelming odds to be able to secure range creeps. So maybe he doesn't go down that route, in which case Palos should just be fine. We'll have a look at the other lanes, though, while we're at it, John. Mid lane, Bob is there against BB. Right now, BB actually having a very nice time in terms of CS on top of the board. Bob, however, going to get aggressive now on the puck. Probably won't have enough to finish as the bottle comes right in time. And now Bob, no, not again, Bob. He can't start on a bad note like this. But BB, he's going to catch up. Thunderclap lands, and there's your first blood. He overextends. BDZ, however, he comes in, he cleans it up. On the other side of things, Tigger, he's trying to deal with RR. Neither one of those two heroes is going to die. But obviously, if you are the Brewmaster, you're very happy right now.
Yeah. First blood bonus goes to him. He gets the XP. Bit of a longer respawn, but he'll TP in, just no problems there. Lots of commitment from Execration to rotate mid to buy that space out. And the matchup, again, BB's doing a pretty fine job in kind of playing it. He will lose out in right-click trades. Bob is leveraging that range advantage quite nicely. So we'll have to watch just how far you commit. But you can see Tigger here just, again, annoying the hell out of RR. He's out of mana, but Tigger's out of HP, so it's a fair trade in the end here.
Certainly. Of course, down the bot lane as well, you've got Raging Potato and BDZ against KMP and Leonak. I'd say this is a much more boring kind of lane. I mean, you don't really expect much out of a Spectre. Maybe you could get something out of Raging Potato on the Magnus, but at best, you're hoping for a skewer back into a tower. Likelihood is KMP probably not going to be caught out in that position.
You are dropping low in Leonak here. That's where BDZ
he might be
really
dead.
using this level advantage.
Yeah. Fairy Fire 8. He does have some stick charges for the Fade Bolt, and now he has the Fade Bolt. That should be Leonak completely... Oh, no, he's juked him out, BDZ. He's got vision now, and he will just barely be able to get him. Very nice kill there from BDZ. Almost missing out, but he does manage to get it in the end. Now Raging. He wants to get aggressive. KNP needs to back off BDZ. He's going to cut him off to get a bit more damage in, but doesn't have the mana for the Fade Bolt or the lift. We'll have to let the Spectre just go.
Bob, though, down mid, does have the orb out, but you can see the pressure they're applying to ensure Bob doesn't have that good start on the puck, because we've seen Bob get on a roll in the puck. If that is the one difference compared to his game one, if he gets a good start in lane, he's just going to be so much more active with combinations that Execration has. So it's a good idea from MY to apply that pressure. They've already got that one kill, and Bob, he's not really able to zone out the Brew too much. Still have a slight CS lead on BB, not massive, but it's enough. It's a melee core with very costly mana spells to spam out to clear out the wave. He's still finding a slight lead here.
Things are going pretty decently, I think, for the side of Execration. In Palos, he's basically just free farmed the top lane. Looks like Siri, in the end, has decided he does not want to try and fight against Palos in the laning phase. Just keeps pulling the creep waves away. The other side of the map, BDZ and Leonak gonna go at it. BDZ not really leaving Leonak alone this game thus far. He does actually have that double Fairy Fire build going on with the Rubik, so he has some really nice right-click damage. Just that +4 can make all the difference. Especially for these supports, and with the added range, Leonak, he just can't fight back. He's always gonna run.
Yeah, he's just not really able to leverage the control he has with the Inkswell. Like, they're not able to play with Inkswell Dagger. You don't really want to dive Magnus, and because of BDZ's positioning, you can't really bully out the Rubik as well. So you're not able to do too much in this lane. It's much more passive for MY compared to even the top lane for Execration. And the farm for KNP is really going slow.
Bob's being dived, Primal split out. The stun is a very long duration. He's going to try and orb away and will go into the tree line, but of course BB is not planning to let this one go, and Bob will die a second time. You talked about Bob catching up nicely on the puck, but in terms of kills, that's going to be the second for BB.
Yeah, and that's going to help them set up. The siege creep can get some decent damage on the tower, not too much. The push potential coming out from MY isn't amazing, so that's where it falls flat. They're getting these kills, they can't really transition to a tower push. Tigger does cop the tower hits to save that siege creep and wait for the next creep wave to come in, so they can do a little bit more, but it's not really enough to be a threat to Execration just yet.
KMP copying a lot of damage here from Raging. He's trying to set up now, it looks like, because he's got the RP up and he's going to commit it. TP's immediate. Raging, he can't do this by himself. I thought he might wait for BDZ. He's still trying for the kill, but he's going to be one hit away, as Leonak is going to be quick enough to save the day. I really thought he was just going to wait for BDZ to make his way over first, so they can just guarantee the kill, but well, now they won't get it.
Yeah, they've got the rotation out from Rob, though. They could find Leonak at least.
Yeah, not quite the target they would have liked, but they'll have to accept it. Leonak, he's gone. BB now, he's going to rotate, but no primal split is up. I suppose he could delay this T1 tower push, and that might be just the objective he has. This Tigger is also around. Maybe they can set up. They'll get the Cinder Brew with the Thunderclap. Impale out is not going to connect, but Bob, he is being targeted. He's already committed the orb, but he'll have another now.
No mana?
He's out of mana, but he is within safety.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's kind of stuck with no TP, though, so gonna have to... Well,
no,
it's
gone.
just in time. Passive region was right there. So it's a bit of time wasted from MY, as they are buying a lot of space out for Palos. Like, that top lane's just free farm now for that LS. Not as much activity from Seri. He does have a duel up, but they can't really find a target for him to leave that lane for just yet.
Yeah, Seri, he's just been chased down. Raging. Be there. Has Skewer back if he wants to. Seri, he's still trying to run. The slow is quite obnoxious here on the LC. And we'll press the attack and overwhelming odds. Maybe he could run away, but no. He is going to get caught out in the end. They've got him. Nice kill there for Execration. Raging, he'll be the one to take it. Bob. Primal splits up. He's going to be able to orb away this time.
Yeah, and you can see Execration now with a slight kill lead, 2-4. 1k lead up for them as well. They're just finding that early activity really paying off. The free farm for Palos is going to amount to a very quick armlet here, and Palos is just running up.
Raging. He targeted. They have Jewel up on Seri. They'd love to commit it, and they will. RP not going to make it in time. I don't think this is going to be a duel win, and it won't be. And BB, he's trying to avoid the RP because the TP's there, but KMP, he's going to make it in time. Oh, goodness. What a cheeky little play there from Raging, and it almost worked, but not quite. It's Palos now. He's going to find a free kill. Did Leonak, he just took the Arcane Ring. That was Execration's Arcane Ring. Palos, he misses out. Seri, he doesn't have the jewel. They can't cancel the TP. But you got a free neutral item. And it's a really nice one too.
Yeah, unfortunate for Execration, just a bit slow in the pickup. So that's going to help them have a little bit more value there, especially for someone that spams spells like that Grimstroke. The activity on the map starting to pay off. BDZ.
Looks like he'll be alright. Just hanging around that mid lane trying to secure his own level 6, and he does have it up now.
That should help.
So he does need the rest of his team to be kind of getting it together as well, so he can start moving and getting those kills. And I'm sure BDZ's not too happy that they lost that Arcane Ring either. So one of those items you just kind of want it as a support. Yeah. Oh, the Pascal would be very upset actually, considering he's getting a Witch's Blade.
Yeah, would have been really helpful, but they are buying a lot of space out. Raging had a couple of camps to clear out. The triangle's really safe for Bob to keep farming up. And they are making a move up. Ice Blast is flying through, but they haven't set up for it.
I mean, it should connect on Seri. It's going to cancel the cell. Alright. A little bit annoying there for Seri, but that was a free salve. He got it from the trusty shovel. While this is happening, Palos is really having a great time farming, but Tigger's going to scout him out. He was underneath the sentry anyway, so Palos just gives him a bit of a slap on the backside and says, hey, how's it going, mate? Palos, he'll just get back to fire. I mean, there's nothing stopping this lifestealer, and it goes back to the Spectre issue, right? Like, you don't really have a big farming tool. He's going for the Blade Bell, so I guess that's going to be the farming tool he's looking for. But even then, it just feels so slow.
Yeah, it's not quick at all for the Spectre. Farming pace is just not amazing. I mean, you can kind of play around with the mobility of Dagger, but still not great. They do find an Arcane Ring as well in the neutral. So 2 Arcane Rings for MY. gonna be very happy with that, as now you have the mana sustain for BB. So, great wins for MY in snagging that earlier. They get to have 2 copies of it for themselves.
Yep. Still quite a passive game so far. 3-4, 12 minutes into the game. It's another one of those drafts for both teams where you're waiting for that mid-game timing where they can just start running at each other. And neither side's really trying to make that happen yet. I guess with a lifesteal and Spectre, you kind of expect this to happen. Arlen's now up on Palos though, so maybe he could get involved, but likelihood is he's just going to use it to farm anyway.
Yeah, they give up the bot tower here for free. Execration, Palos just gets that done by himself. Grouping up top though.
They are. Bob. Oh, Tigger is right nearby, and he's going to be able to get the vision to get the impel. Bob still has mana though, and he has another orb. So he's going to be just fine. They've really been trying to target Bob throughout the series, but at least this time he gets away. Leonak, however, down a bot lane, he will not be able to get away. This Palos just takes him out on the lifesteal.
Nice kill for Palos to get. They are going for the top tier 1 here, but look at Execration already clumped around the mid. They've got the numbers to force that in. Raging Potato is sitting on an RP. He's got the blink up on the mag. So he's ready to go, and this is a Raging Potato special. Didn't even point that out. He loves his Magnus. It's one of his key heroes, and it's just going to be able to set up for his team here.
Oh, he's under the sentry. Oh no, RP! It was completely whiffed. The split was there in time. The lift didn't last long enough, and now BDZ is going to be chased down. Haunt is there as well. They really want to take this team fight, knowing the advantages they have. This KMP does take out BDZ immediately, but now the Lifestealer, Ice Blast there as well. Onto 2, it will connect. Maybe they could get the Spectre, but they need a bit more damage. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, with this Brewmaster about to fall, they will finally get BB onto the next DLC, about to drop, and there's Tigger gone as well. Bob will pick up a double kill. Off the buyback of BDZ and a big Dream Coil there from Bob, along with the Ice Blast. It all ends up working out for Execration.
Yeah, and it felt like they had momentum there with that nice bait out on Raging Potato. It's just not enough, and now their tier 1 mid is set to fall. Big win for Execration. They've got a 4K lead 14 minutes in. Really fair as well. They're even stealing the Ancient stacks. Raging's just getting to work to it.
That's something you do not want to see as the Pos 1 Spectre. You just got that Blade Mail up, you're kind of depending on those stacks to be able to really inflate your net worth, but that is not going to be the case. They've left him 1 creep. Have an Ancient Black Dragon. Enjoy. And so far, Execration, I mean, with the 4K net worth lead and with the draft like this, that's really much easier to execute than what MY have. They are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, they're just much more efficient on the map. The fights they choose to take are really favorable for them, and they have this timing with the blink up on Raging. He's not sitting back and farming. He's just going back to empower the Lifestealer as needed. He's going for the 4 staff next. He's just set to set up. It's almost like similar to how his Sand King was. He's just setting up for the team to get their win condition up and running, and they haven't really been able to stop that in MY. They're trying to invade that jungle now. The stacks were taken out by Bob. He's having a great time on his puck as well. Bottom of the cores for his team, but still above Seri, still matching BB and KNP. That's a good spot to be in, considering majority of your farm is just on Palos.
Yeah. Top lane. And Bob's around to defend that top lane, so they're not really going to be able to get anything out of this. Like MY just gonna have to try and play a bit more of a passive game while they're waiting for their farm to come up.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Execration, they're not backing off this bot lane either. Looks like they're gonna commit. They have the RP up. No, never mind. They are actually gonna back off back into that mid lane where they might find BB on that mid Brewmaster. He's just trying to work towards the Yags, but instead, no. They're gonna run into Tigger. Pings are out. Sentry's down, there's your lift out, BDZ's got him. Palos gonna move in now with the Rage. They want that Nyx first, and they've got him very easily. No problem whatsoever. As Ice Blast is gonna give vision on poor old Leonak. Tips out as well from BDZ. Poor Leonak, I mean, he might be able to survive this as his team has joined in to try and help out, but no, Palos, he gets the job done. Back on a BB. No, they want Seri. They'll get the Dream Call off. A big overwhelming odds, but Palos, he's in onto that Life Stealer when there is not much that Seri can do to try and survive as now the skewer back on a BB. He'll get the Primal Split RP. It's going to be a pump fake. Now he does throw it out for the first time as they've got the Spectre in there. Can they get him? Blade Mail popped. No, they want BB instead. They want the Brewmaster. He runs a little bit too fast though. Shockwave's off the mark, BB. He's gonna survive for now, morphing back into the original form, but what do you do now? Palos can just get to work. He's gonna try and pop the Drunken Brawler and actually gets Raging Potato. Meanwhile, Impel's out on Bob. The Park Spirit Vessel, it's going to be a lot of damage being pumped out, but he's going to be able to make his way out as BB finally dies, but now KMP, he's going to move his way back in. BDZ going to cancel the TP and does get punished for it as Palos will get back to the Spectre, but he doesn't have enough damage. Meanwhile, Tigger, he's going to find RR. Or is he? He left RR.
Under a sentry.
He is underneath the sentry. RR being very, very patient. Just acting as if nothing's wrong as Tigger now realizes he has been caught. Impels there. But RR, he might need to go to Hollywood, John. That was some very nice acting.
Yeah, just solid patience coming out from Execration. They do manage to win out the trade in the end. MY just not finding the openings they want. It's getting very tricky for them to take these fights. Execration just so patient with their positioning. They've got great tools to save themselves. They've got the blinks. They've got the Force Staff on raging now. Bob, just with a Witchblade, is already hitting like a truck. His blink is not too far off, as he has been allowed to stay in that jungle. There is a rotation here from Seri, though.
A nice duel out. They've got a big target in the form of Bob. They won't be able to win the duel, I don't believe. In fact, no, never mind. The Inkswell, just in the nick of time. And that's actually the first duel victory of the game for Seri, which is a complete opposite of what we saw in Game 1 from this man's LC. But it's certainly been a much tougher game.
Yeah, it's been a lot slower for the LC this time around. They lost their tier 2 bottom now, so Execration can just set up for a push.
This will do nicely.
With a 5k net worth lead, Execration, they're not looking to throw anything away. And Palos, he's working towards that Eye of Skadi and even finds a nice Dragon Scale for himself. So he just keeps amplifying the slow on this Life Stealer. It's getting it to the point where you're just not moving anymore once he hits you. I mean, it's not going to be fun if you run into this man.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's just staying around this bot side.
And they're keeping that bot wave shoved in. They've got the wards to watch and protect here as well. They know MY can't afford to really take a direct fight. So MY is just eyeing for the dual plays, eyeing for one here to pick off, and Execration's not giving them that opportunity. They play on the opposite side of the map. They're keeping their farm up. They're farming together. They do smoke up now, though. RP is ready. Infest is up.
They're about 700 gold away from BB's Ags, which is a bit unfortunate for him. Smoke broken, but they got the RP and they got the target they wanted. Goes the Ice Blast. Leonak, no way out. He literally just didn't move, John. He just stood in place as Palos hit him.
Radiant's middle
Yeah,
tower is under
it's an
attack.
insane amount of slow. It's not just Palos's right clicks, right? It's the Ice Vortex on top. You just don't move. You don't even need a Scotty up yet to get that done, and they're going to rip through the mid tier 2. Top tier 1 still stands, so Mega Creeps can't come out. But the high ground, it's just feeling threatened. They might not fully commit, but they've got the tool to just constantly keep the wave shoved in. And MY, it needs so much more to get that Spectre up. Our Spectre is 4k behind the Lifestealer. An atrocious disparity at 21 minutes in. That's one major item for Palos that the Spectre is just not going to have.
Oh,
and
BB,
it's just
no.
down to the fact that we've had this.
BB's 100 gold off the Ags, and they're going to move in. They're going to try and get this kill. 70 gold away. He'll be alright. He'll survive. They even smoke up just to try and escape safely.
Tigger.
Haunt in, though. They moved in. Tigger, he's going to be in trouble. He's been caught out, and he's just gone. The Haunt, it does nothing. I think the most it did is just scout out for the team, but now Execration, they rush the Roshan pit.
Man, they can't fight inside. Their AoE spells are lacking without the Nyx. They could maybe look for a blink dual play or leverage this Ags on BB, but they need to be, well, not too quick as the Rosh is fairly slow, but they need to be cautious around the pit. They've got the numbers disadvantage here.
Nice blast. It's there, Seri. He's not going to get hit. The team's again going to group up. Execration, smoke up. They're feeling so confident. I mean, Ags is up now on BB, so 2 charges of Primal Split is going to make this team fight a lot more challenging. But without the Horn, it feels like you are lacking a lot of damage, and Leonak, he's at least going to be able to break the smoke, or maybe not, because they found BB. Press the attack is going to purge up the silence with the RP. Raging Potato, he's going to find all 2 at the very least. They've already burst down Seri. Now the Soulbind, though, they look to turn it. Raging Potato's down. Palos going to move in, but he is taking a fair bit of damage from the Spectre. And this Brewmaster, for that matter, he'll rage through with the armor toggle and just trying to back up a BB. He's going to go for a secondary Primal Split. Meanwhile, towards the south, they have jeweled up Bob, but Bob's going to be alright. At least for now, as he turns back on Siri, or maybe not, because Tigger is going to be able to kill him off. And that team fight does not work out the way of Execration, as now MY, they are onto the Roshan.
Yeah, and this is not the fastest Rosh, but the Cinder Brew does simplify that, and they've got the numbers inside. Execration, no RP, no Dream Coil, even if they bought back, so can't really contest this one. First Rosh of the game, going to the way of MY, and that's going to give KNP some protection now, as he still needs time to build up. So he's going to be a bit safer farming up front. He's going to be a bit safer from being caught out. And that was a good turnaround from MY. It does pay off. The lead is still 7k away of Execration, though. There's still a massive deficit to play against here. But majority of that is on Palos. Not much gold is going out to Raging and Bob. They've taken the backseat to enable that Life Stealer to really build up.
Oh, BDZ just 4 staffs in. Palos will be able to secure a kill, and they even get the impel there for BDZ. And this is partially the problem, right? Like, once you haven't got the primal split going on, it's very challenging to be able to fight back against Execration. They still have a 7k net worth lead, regardless of what just happened.
Yeah. Again, that lead is almost all just on Palos. So if you are slowing down Raging's farm, you're slowing down Bob's farm, and that does give MY an opportunity to play around that. If they take a fight where Palos isn't there, they can kind of force the issue and take that win. Palos has to kind of take an active role with his Scotty now. He has to join his team at every opportunity, and they are lining up. RP's ready here.
Oh, and they just get the Horn Toss. They don't need the RP. Shards up on Raging. It's going to allow them to get Leonak. That Horn Toss, it's a really obnoxious ability to have. It always catches you off guard, but now they can still play with the RP. Somebody else shows up in the mid lane, they're going to happily RP them. KMP, he's going to show up down to the bot lane. Palos is trying to bait somebody down to the low ground. They know exactly where KMP is now. Palos going to give the vision. Raging, looking for that attempt. You've still got the Aegis on the Spectre. They got the Horn Toss? No.
Ooh.
The Manta was there in time. They are still looking to be very aggressive, though. Primal split back up on the Brewmaster, so you've at least got 1 charge, and you've almost got 2. Yet Execration, they still don't look to back off.
I don't think they need to. They've got control on the bot lane. They can farm the jungle if they want to. They can just keep choking out MY. MY, for their part, they've got the top lane to play with. I think KNP needs to play top instead. Just use the Haunt to join the fight when it does break out and have someone else keep that bot wave shoved in. Execration just constantly shifting around the jungle. Double damage to be picked up by Bob as well. Nice little tool to help them in the next fight. MY still playing catch-up. Like, the Spectre is saving up for her own Scotty here. KNP still a ways off from finishing that up, and the gold disparity is just a bit too much
Horn
right now.
toss is there onto the Spectre. Ice Blast does actually land. They've got the Impale as well, so the Aegis, it's gone. They've still got the RP up. Raging, he's going to look for the opportunity, and he might just find it soon, but the Horn is out as well. They want to try and find RR. 4 staffs away. Jewel, though, it's caught out Bob. They've got the puck down. Even with the Aegis gone, it's still a decent enough team fight so far for MY.
It works out in the hero trade. They did pop Haunt. Now, RP is still held on by Execration. Dreamcoil's going to be still there when the respawn comes in from Bob, so they don't commit as many resources to take that Aegis off. And MY, off the back of those kills, it's just back to farming. They can't transition to a tier 1 push mid, which is still standing at 27 minutes in. They can't pressure tier 2s. They just need to keep building up and hope that the next big item for the Spectre, for the Brewmaster, starts to come through. Once the BKB is up for BB, easier for him to land those spell combos that he needs to. They already have the Ags up in Tigger, and that has been a massive help in getting those long-range stuns off and the control for the side of MY. And that will simplify the high ground defense when it comes down to it. But look at Execration. They're not shoved back at all. They lost their puck. They know there's no Aegis to worry about. They just keep that bot wave shoved out and keep threatening.
Yo. Yeah, at least they've got the Aghanim Scepter on Tigger. That'll help delay things, but I suppose every time you've got that rage up, you can freely get some damage off, as we are going to have a quick DC from Palos, which is maybe why he was backing off a bit early there. Nevertheless, that T3 is almost gone. They've still got the RP up. Bob's back up as well. No Haunt, no Aegis. I don't really think they're backing off all the way. I think they might re-engage.
There's no reason to just reset right now. They're all fairly healthy. They've got the mana pool for at least the RP skewer back. They've got all the tools they need to take this fight in the high ground. MY is the one that needs to think twice, because KNP's TPing in. He can't position himself in the middle of the fight with Haunt right now. Not for a minute 10. It's a long time until the Spectre is able to contribute well. It's mainly down to Leonak, Tigger, and BB to use their spells properly. Maybe even a Blink Duel from Seri to distract them to get that done for the team. They just need to find the angles, and it's easier for Execration in this case to find those angles. The execution's just a lot easier with Dreamcoil and RP. The Ice Blast can help you find that single pick-off, and BDZ can steal some sick spells in the middle of these fights. Especially with Nyx being stationary on the burrow. If you find some vision out, you can steal the Impale, and it's suddenly a massive issue because of that cast point reduction that Rubik gets on his spells. It's going to be easy to land those follow-up stunts to something big like the RP.
Fair enough. Looks like we are still going to have to wait a bit longer here for Palos. KNP just trying to make his way back over to the base, but you know, without the Horn, it just feels like such an awkward team fight. I mean, you never know. Execration, they may not feel comfortable into the Nyx Aghanim Scepter. There might be enough for them to just get out, but it just feels like with all these abilities up, you might at least try for a Horn Toss skewer back, or even an RP skewer back, but you can basically just go in risk-free with the Horn Toss skewer. Most of the time, you will be able to get somebody and just get the hell out. We'll get back into it, though. Palos is here. Raging, yeah, he's going to try for something. They don't want to back. I mean, I think it's too big of an opportunity to just kind of throw away.
Radiant structures are fortified.
You know, you're happy enough, you forced to fortify. Love the position of this OBS as well. They do spot it out in the end, but it was fairly sneaky, hiding in that cliff area, giving them good forward vision onto the high ground. Fortified down means that if they take this tier 3, they can force the issue.
There it is. They've got the Horn Toss, they've got the RP, they want the Primal Split gone, but he's going to be able to get it off to press the attack. Going to purge up the stun, and now the Soulbind's there. The Infest immediately into the mag. That's what makes it hard, right? Like, you can get the nice initiation off, but as long as Seri's there with the LC, he's going to be able to purge off the stun and allow the Primal Split. That'll mean that Execration, with an RP down, they don't want to go much further. Or do they? They're going back in.
They've got Dream Coil. So you trade one spell for one. The split is back up on a charge, but they're still going to be able to find a tier 3 and start in the racks.
Still not willing to risk it though without the rage. It's fair enough. You just want to be very safe here for your Execration. Smoke up though. Leonax, Seri, they're going to be smoked in the backside. Trying to maybe catch Palos off guard. Oh, there's a Horn toss. They need some help for this Brewmaster, but this time he's gone. They have Haunted in. That is a huge overwhelming odds, but is it going to be enough? Everyone's just back down of there. Palos, he is still just perfectly fine. So he gets stunned up for a second, but it just doesn't matter. Maybe it's time to just reset. Do it again.
Yeah, and now they can just wait for Dream Coil to be back up and RP. Does he actually get any spells while under? No.
No. But he does get the regen, John. He can kind of use that, right? Because there's no spell animation. It's instant.
So silly.
He can still lift and fade bolt through it, no problem.
Can he actually?
Yeah, of course he can.
Oh,
Skewer back, Tigger. Spy Carapace, they get the jewel off this time. They want to punish this Magnus. Raging, he's somehow still alive, but eventually does die as Palos. He'll get to work, and they buy back on Raging Potato. They want to try and fight this one out on the backside. Dream calls down Seri to lock him down. Palos, meanwhile, is dropping low and looks like he is going to fall. With the Eye of Skadi up on KMP, they are able to get through the Lifestealer. Suddenly this game looks to be a little bit more challenging now for Execration. Then why they are able to fight back.
Yeah, they managed to hold on to their racks. They get a big kill by taking out the Lifestealer. And they force the buyback and Raging Potato. He doesn't even get to use the RP in that fight. So you miss out on some opportunities there for Execration. They still hold a 10k lead though. MY 15 to 24. They need to still put in a lot of work in catching up with KNP. But with his Scotty up, with a Basher coming through next, that's when it can get a bit scary for the Lifestealer in the man fight. Still, KNP is very far forward here.
Nice blast is there, lift as well. Impel BDZ setting up. KNP is indeed very forward, but he's also a very tanky boy. And he's going to be able to survive through all of it. They don't have enough follow-up damage. And the rest of MY, they're making their way over. They want to maybe go for a fight. RR, poor old RR. He's going to run right into Tigger. And even the Inkswell is actually going to connect. He does go down. And this game, even with an AK and a worth lead, it is still a very close matchup between these two.
Yeah, it's tricky for both sides to really get something from their kills. I think Execration, they did force more buybacks, but look at this. MY, they just smoke up. They want to keep re-engaging here.
They've still got Primal split up. Roshan's up in 30 seconds. Bob, he's going to get jeweled immediately. The Infest was there, though. They can just jump out and try to take down this LC, and they do get him. Seri's gone. Raging. He has an RP up, but he's waiting up the Horn. In fact, never mind. He found the Spectre. That's the target they want. But do they have the damage? KMP, he's so tanky. He's not taking anything away from Palos. Palos is still trying, but it's not going to be enough. He's forced to back off now as Raging might be focused by BB. But no, he won't be. BB just holds the rest back. Lift up though, BDZ. He found himself a Nyx Assassin. They should be able to find Tigger. He's going to delay things quite a bit though. Make it rather challenging for them. But they do get him eventually. And Roshan is officially up now.
Yeah, that's a hasty play from MY. They gave up dual damage to Bob as well, so he's got 20 damage on hand. Feels great for the puck. Just not enough burst to handle him with the Infest heal coming through from Palos. And that opens up the Roshan for Execration. No haunt means no fight for MY unless BB manages to really sneak in with his split. They do get some scouting out with the illusions coming through from our Spectre. But it's hard for them to pop in there. There is no RP on Execration, but they will have Dream Coil with Bob back up. And again, just no haunt makes it very complicated for MY. They have to surrender this. Aegis Cheese, Ag Shard coming out. Curious to see who they give the shard to. Probably just Palos for the open wounds. Probably. Does look like it is going that way. No, he passes the shard and cheese. All right. Goes on to Bob. for the Waning Rift with the damage and the knockback and interrupt. Oh, non-interrupt, but it is really good in the puck as well. He's got more utility, more control on hand to break up these fights. Makes him a lot slipperier when you do engage on him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing for Bob on this puck. He just wants to be able to survive. The longer he can survive, the more damage he gets out. And, you know, his spells, they're not very long cooldowns. So it's just about being able to survive long enough to just continuously get them out. Now Motive, or rather MY. Oh, they're asking for a minute. Looks like we might be having some lag issues here for Seri. Now trying to make their way back into the triangle, and looks like it's a Discord issue, in fact. They do have vision over Palos right now, so they could attempt to make a jump in on the Lifestealer and maybe secure the Aegis. He does have some backup in Raging, though. But the RP, it's down for another 7 seconds.
I think that might be a big enough window for the RP to be back up when they do commit. There's a lot of HP here on the Nyx, the Lifestealer, so could be hard to just commit fully here unless they literally toss everything out. Duel, the split, the silence from the Grimstroke, the stuns coming out from the Nyx, and really just go all in. But even then, you just find Aegis for that, and the re-engage from Execration is going to be a bit tough. Haunt is still 10 seconds off as well, and they just kind of let Palos go. He is basically done with the AC, just lacking the recipe so far, so he's going to be even more durable up front, and you're still not seeing that pacing from KNP. Like, he's at 18k net worth, Lifestealer 23k, one major item above here for Palos. The Spectre, it just doesn't feel great when you're playing at an item at disadvantage. You do want something a bit more to leverage your passives, and you're not quite at that point yet for KNP to be that big condition. They still have to rely on each other here, whereas for Execration, you know, you can kind of just rely on our Raging Potato to get a big RP. You can definitely rely on Palos and Bob separately to get damage off here.
DB. Maybe caught out. Nice impel there. BDZ setting up. The force to split out. Palos is going to look to back off as Raging. A nice skewer back onto Seri, but the duel is going to be there. BDZ also being caught out on the Rubik is going to drop a Seri. Is taking a lot of damage and does finally go down. RR's also gone as well. A 2-for-2 trade, in fact, make that Leonak down on the Grimstroke. Palos now, he wants to move back in. He's got the rage up, but there's another primal split available on BB. That Nyx Assassin, Tigger, he is burrowed, but he is taking a lot of damage. Still a nice impel there onto two heroes. Bob's going to drop Palos. He will finally get through that Nyx Assassin. And now BB, I need it back. That split does wear off.
Bounty.
3 for 3. 2 buybacks on the side of MY, 1 on the side of Execration.
They still have RP here, Execration. They could still look to play, even without that puck. They are very strong. There's no Haunt available as well for MY to take this fight. So you do have to be cautious. MY, even with that kind of a win with taking out the puck with no buyback, there's nothing to play for. There's no Roshan. There's no tower they can pressure. There's no high ground to scare the side of Execration with. So they're just back to farming, back to trying to catch up in the farm. And the lead has narrowed a bit, at the least between these cores. KNP is only about 3k behind, much better than the 5k deficit. He is working towards the butterfly, and the basher on the Spectre has done some work. Bashing through the rage of Palos has thrown him off guard a couple of times. They just need to be able to get the follow-up in that.
Nice TD rune down the bot rune spot as well.
Which my matriarch would
You'd love to see it for either team. But looks like both teams going to go ahead and secure those tier 4 items. Pretty much Raging's getting all of them. Right now is Ninja Gear, Minotaur Horn, Spider Legs. Oh, Spider Legs is tier 3. I believe they got another one as well. And it's going to be the Stormcrafter on BDZ. You know what, MY? I don't believe they picked up any themselves yet. Yet to get any tier 4 items. And now Execration, they found a DD rune. Could be for some very nice timing as they've got that neutral item advantage here for Execration. The double BKB now on Palos with the Rage and the Minotaur Horn.
Oof. Yeah, that's a tough. You always like it when you pick that up on the lifestealer. Saves you the headache of buying a BKB as well. And Execration, they still have a minute left, half a minute on that Aegis. They've got a window here where they could just throw the body forward, and this is the perfect time for that VD to come into play.
Yeah, man, that's exactly what they're doing.
Radiant's bottom barracks are
Bot Rack's gonna be under siege. They will lift it up on the side of MY. Baby, he's gonna move in. He does have one primal split charge for now. Maybe the bot rack's gone, or at least the melee barracks. Execration. I mean, they could start trying for the mid-tier 3 tower, and it looks like Palos, he's going to be confident enough to move forward onto it. With double rage up, like with double magic immunity, you feel so much safer going onto that high ground. But now that the edge is expired, they aren't going to overextend. They will end up backing off. And would you believe it, they even found a flicker.
Wow. How timely for the side of Execration. That self-dispel always going to be good. What a nice thing to give out. I wonder who does take it in the end, as I don't see anyone picking it up just yet. But at the least, MY's gotten some time for KNP to finish up that farm as well. Penta Edge coming out, Stormcrafter as well. They've got the Mentor and Horn on KNP, so he does have protection, and the Butterfly's durability should come into play here. You don't have an MKB on Palos, you don't have anything else to kind of stop the Spectre from just missing, or at least from missing those hits on yourself, and that could complicate the process in focusing down the spec. KNP will be able to get more work done for his team. They do have the Haunt ready in MY as well, so Execration's going to have to think a bit harder before re-engaging here.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
So a bit of a quiet period, it seems. MY, oh, KNP, gonna get run into. Palos, not gonna be able to lock him down. KNP's actually playing around with the lifestealer over that creep. Who gets the Ancient? It's like Palos might be working towards that MKB. Everyone just kind of on the edge now, as you know, one team fight could just kind of ruin the other team's night. There's really not many buybacks available at the moment either. Only BB and Raging have one. Mid lane, BB, he's gonna be caught. Horn Toss is there with the Ice Blast and the Dagon, but he has the Aeon Disc. Haunt is out as well. They're gonna try and force a fight. And they get one though. Raging. They're going to go in onto RR instead. Impel is there. BDZ maybe saving the day, but no. RR, he's going to drop the backside. Bob, he's been caught out by the Jewel. He had the Ion Disc, but it has already worn off, and they'll get the Jewel victory. 2 down for Execration. And MY, I mean, they've got an opening now. They might be able to make something happen.
Yeah, it's a big win for them. Inside of Execration, just not finding the angle to use their RP, to use the Dream Coil. That does make a really nice win for MY. Roche, we're going to find a respawn timer in about 20 seconds as well. So that gives them something to play for if it's a quick one while the puck is down. And they get the refresh done on BB. So he's always got a primal split ready to go when he does need it. And maybe even refresh that Aeon Disc if the situation requires it. So he's fairly safe now on this Brewmaster. Our Spectre is starting to feel like a massive issue, but you've got the MKB up on Palos, so he can actually focus in on the Spectre now. Issue is he doesn't have a Basher. I'm not sure if he's really going to get room for that as well to get control on the Spectre by himself. They're going to have to still rely on the rest of the heroes to provide that control on that Spec when it does come down to the man fight of the cores.
Alright, he's been spotted, trying to get that D ward, and well, KNP, he has the X up now with the Shadow Step. Still, the Glimmer Cape may have just saved the day, and BDZ just tosses back RR with his own shards, and in fact, Palos now is going to TP in, but BB, he's going to be just fine. He'll just pop the Primal Split, just back out of there. Neither side willing to take a fight that's less advantageous to them. We're going to have another 60-minute game, though. It's starting to feel that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
The way this game's gone.
It is. The scaling for Execration is really nice into late, but so is MY. RP plus an Ags upgraded Dream Coil down the line for Bob is always going to be relevant. The Lifestealer is enabled by having a Magnus on board. And same thing for MY. They've got infinite high ground hold with a Brewmaster, with a Refresh, with the Nyx Assassin on hand, with a Burrow. And of course, it's a Spectre. As the game scales on late, it becomes harder and harder to pin down. So have to worry about that. Roshan in 40 seconds. That's the big objective both sides will be eyeing now as Execration is standing around the pit. They do have really strong Roche presence, but you still have to respect Tigger's stuns. If he manages to get good impales off and good uses of the Spike Carapace with a Burrow, could turn around in a second.
Palos. Sees BB. Let's start moving forward. Bob. He's going to throw a casual orb out. You've always got that Shadow Step. You've always got the Haunt there from KNP. Both teams just waiting for the Roshan, which is up in 2 seconds. Execration, they're going to go for a big smoke up. Trying to loop in from the backside. Or maybe not. They might be able to find KMP down at the bot lane.
Dire are scanning.
He's by himself. The ping's right on target as well. They know exactly where he is. But he is hiding. He notices something is awry here. Seems to be aware that there is a smoke going on here with that Shadow Step being committed. Now MY, well and truly aware of what's going on. I'm just going to try and remain in that triangle and not get caught out. It does amount to nothing though. The smoke, not going to get them any kills. In fact, there is going to be a Haunt in. They found BDZ and they found RR. They might just be able to find both, but BDZ, he's out of there. And RR, the Glimmer Cape, it saved him for a little bit. And BDZ, well, he actually managed to blink away. Spirit Vessel's still there though, and KMP knows exactly where he's gone. Meanwhile, on the other side, in the mid-river, Palos at least gets one. There's going to be a Leonak going down, but it is going to be a 1-for-2 trade. Definitely favorable for the side of MY.
Yeah, it's a nice win for MY. I don't know if this really opens up the Roche, though. There's still RP Dream Coil ready to go from Execration. So if they commit in the pit, they don't have the Haunt, and they do have the splits. But I think you definitely want the Haunt to really enable this. Still, they're going to work their way in. We'll see if Execration can get the timing here to stop this from happening.
BB, Rumble Split, Aeon Disc already procced. Palos. But they're going to both know the Roshan's up.
Radiant's bottom barracks.
Raging. You're always going to... It's always going to be a little bit challenging fighting into an RP and a Dream Coil that's both available right now for Execration. But at the same time, BB can be very annoying with that Tornado. Still has the Refresher Orb available as well. If he needs to refresh the Primal Split.
Is under attack.
Looks like Execration might have to start the Roshan themselves now.
Behold! Haste!
He's strewn up. Do they want to try for a smoke? It looks like they do. That was that in vision of the range creeps? I'm not even sure. I mean, it is nighttime.
I don't think so. I think they were safe from vision, but they aren't sneaking around. They want KNP.
Uh-oh, KMP, that's the biggest target, and they found him. Dagon there with the Ice Blast, and they got the Spectre.
Oh my god.
He's got no buyback.
He bought the Abyssal. He just bought the Abyssal. He couldn't use it. That's going to cost him. Like, if he had buyback, he could haunt back in if the Roche was going to happen here from Execration. Now, Execration, I don't know if they're aware, but they should be that there's no buyback, and they're going to rush that Roche now.
I mean, absolutely, you've got to rush the Roshan. Meanwhile, Raging, he's got the Refresher Orb himself coming out now, so you've got double RP on Raging Potato. That's going to be
triple.
quite nice.
If you hand him the chart, you could get triple RP. Why not? Or just double Dream Coil, double RP. That sounds a lot more comfortable if you've got a well-coordinated team. Roche not going to last long. MY not in a position to contest. And that could spell the end. Second life up on Palos. Refresh past to Raging. So they are going to go for probably a triple RP if the mana allows it. And they've got everything they could ask for now. Respawn is going to be up shortly for our Spectres, so they will have an opportunity to defend. And you can't underestimate the output of the Nyx, and God knows how many splits BB can get out here. But they have to play their minds out to get that done.
Uh-oh, they got an Impel already, though. No rage from Palos, but he does use the Minotaur Horn, and now raging. A nice skewer back again on the Brewmaster, but BB, he's got the Primal split off. That'll be the first one. The Soulbind holding them both down. Will force Bob back. Palos, he's just continuing to get to work, though. He is not afraid right now. But he should be very soon, because 5 seconds from now, you are going to have your Spectre back up. Raging. One toss back up again very soon. He's been very good with these skewer backs. RP in 20 if he wants the 3 RPs available. And it looks like he is going to wait for the 3 RPs to be up. He might just go for Tigger. You can still skewer back the Burrowed Nyx, even though he is theoretically underground. Does work that way. There you're just kind of skewering back a pile of dirt. We'll see though, he's got the 3 RPs now available. Oh, MP's in. That was just the shadow step being committed, not the horn.
He didn't opt to use his Abyssal there. Maybe if you took that first life from Palos, that would relieve some pressure. Execration would have to think twice about popping the high ground, but you can see the hold from MY. Because they've got the Nyx, because they've got that split on BB, it is fairly tough to keep coming back in. And Palos is always empty of mana as well, so it's not very comfy.
Well, they go in again now. This time, it was another Shadow Step. In fact, they've stunned him up long enough that they've got the secondary life. Ice Blast coming in, raging. He's looking for the RP, but he's not going to be able to find the opportunity as the jewel does come out. They need it quick, but they're going to lose Palos. Into the more, skewer back, raging. He's got 2 there, but he's all alone. Oh boy. That's not good news for Execration, but great news for MY.
Oh yeah, they hold on really well. They managed to get that defense going. They did commit the Abyssal. Does pay off. The Haunt buys them enough time as well. No buyback for Raging. That's pretty big. 300 gold away as well. If they catch Bob here, that could be big.
Is that a BDZ horn?
He's out of mana.
Bob is out of mana, and he looks to be in pretty big trouble now as he's going to try and run with that Haste Rune. He might just make it because of that Haste Rune. As he waits out the Blink Dagger, he will blink away. Cinderbrew still slowing him down now that the haste has worn out. He'll try to orb with the last bit of mana he has. He might just make it though. KMP, no, he won't continue the chase. Meanwhile, BDZ was jeweled up, is still somehow alive, and does get the blink away. But the dagger's going to connect. KMP's got him.
Yeah, that's a big win for MY. Turns the tide back their way. Unfortunately, the bot wave is constantly shoved out, and Bob is just going to keep it that way. He has the travels, just wants to be a nuisance, stop the push. We saw Bob do this before. As long as he prevents the objectives from being touched, this kind of win isn't lining up for MY. They need to start clearing out this map a bit more. They need to transition to objectives, but they're kind of held back right now. They could wait out for the next Roshan in about 4 minutes. If they want to. Tigger is stalking Bob a bit, but it is just himself. The Shadow Step is up if they do land those spells, though.
Definitely seems like another 60-minute game we got here, John. So I'll ask you the same question as last time. Any particular items you want to see?
I'm always going to say Giant's Ring, and I'm always going to say Meteor Hammer, along with...
Meteor Hammer?
I guess I do like the Oh, sorry, the Fallen Sky. I just think of it as a Meteor Hammer. The Ex Machina is good as well with a refresh for the BKBs, but it doesn't feel like that's pertinent here. Maybe a refresh, 25-second Aeon Disc, on the other hand, sounds pretty busted. So that could be nice as well. But Giant's Ring is for the memes, if it does come out. Still, Execration, almost everyone's back up. They are smoked here with Bob in the Infest.
If they are, Seri might be targeted. Meanwhile, on the top lane, who have they got? Oh, they found Raging Potato. No RP. Palos, he's going to be able to at least get serious now. The buyback's there. Raging, he's going to rejoin the team fight. They'll try to go after the Spectre. They may have found him as well. In the tree line, they've got him, and they take him down. KMP's gone. He's got the buyback, though. He could rejoin the team fight. There's BB. Trying to get a stun off. Onto Bob. Is still just trying to run. Just try and buy more time as Tigger is going to turn as Bob. He just dies to BB. They tip him immediately. Palos now, there's your buyback from KMP. They want to try and force another team fight onto Palos. They've got the life stealer, but no, the lift away. BDZ, he's going to save the day. Abyssal Blade is there. RP, though, raging. He gets one of them up, but no, the Impale. Tigger, he won't allow the consecutive RPs to come out. They only got one off. Raging's going to die back. He's got 2 more to go, but he can't throw them out. Tigger, he's still in that burrow. Palos, he's still trying to man fight. KMP, he's going to back off. Kite out, come back in. Jewel is there. The Jewel, it's going to be no good though. They win the Jewel on the side of Execration. Tigger is still burrowed in this middle of the team fight. Everyone's just leaving him be. As Palos, he'll get back to the next assassin. He might just finally get him and does. They finally got him. BB still going. Aeon Disc procced. Another primal split. Why the hell not? After BDZ, he goes on the Rubik. The Spectre's already left though. BB, he will get 1 remnant and get the hell out of there. This team fight, it was a 2-for-3 trade, 2 buybacks on either side. Pretty much everything committed, apart from those 2 RPs, and that's the one thing. If Raging got the 3 RPs off, then that game, that team fight would have been so different. But because that 1 Impale connected, he could not get the consecutive ones out.
And that's just all down to Tigger being at the right spot at the right time. Execration, it's so strange. They've got 2 racks up, well, 1 rack's up. They can't really leverage it. The tier 3 gone from top, so it's exposed. Next Roshan, we'll find out in about 40 seconds when it'll be up. And that's going to be the focal point again. That's where Execration's going to look. That's where MY is going to look. The Spectre is getting really scary into this late game. Just because he can bash through the spell immunity on Palos. And that's the big thing for the Lifestealer. Now, mind you, because they had the double duel a while ago, both heroes did get some extra damage. 50 damage on our puck, 30 damage on Palos because it was on the Lifestealer as well. So they got something out. Not amazing trading out the buybacks like that, but it's still something building up here. I don't know how you further itemize for Palos. He's got the Nullifier up. He doesn't really have slots left.
It's not about the items he can buy anymore. It's about the tier 5 items.
I guess Fallen Sky could be good, although I think I'd prefer that on Raging. Giant Spring is really good in Lifestealer because he's strength anyway, but it could also be really good on your Magnus as well, because RP, having you're on top of everyone. There's a lot of options here. They are clumped up mid. Smoke out from MY.
You've got a minimum of 2 primal splits again on Baby. He's got the refresh orb up. Raging. He's still got 3 RPs to go. No buyback though, he has to be a bit cautious. The Jewel is out. Who have they got? They have caught out RR. They've got the Ancient Apparition to start. Palos though is going to trade with Seri. Bob will take the kill with the Dagon. Now the Soulbind's there, but the Minotaur Haunts are going to be popped. And oh, the Haunt Toss! They got the Spectre. RP's out, but the Impale again is going to start up Raging Potato. He can't get the second one off. He's going to be able to skewer away or rather force stuff away though. He will survive. KMP's gone. There's no buybacks available as BB now looking to find or at least turn this team fight around, but there's your RP. Raging, he'll lock him down. All the Brewlings. Impale's not going to help. BB, he will try to run, but it looks like his life might be forfeit unless he has another split. And tips are out for Leonak apparently, as he's going to die now.
Truly.
Is this game over, John? There's 3 without buyback.
I don't see a great defense coming out with just the Nyx and the Brewmaster, but they can be disruptive. Maybe they stall for 40 seconds for at least the Legion Commander to back up here.
Yeah, we've got another 2 splits charges. So we'll see how well Baby can try and defend. Ice Blast into the backside is going to connect onto Tigger. And Bob, he's going to jump in. Dagon out, that'll proc the Aeon Discus Palos. He's onto the tier 4 towers. He's ignoring the next assassin right next to him. Instead now, he'll go on to BB. They've got the Brewmaster surely is Raging. He moves in. He's still got an RP with that refresh orb, and he will go ahead and just horn toss him around. Just get the tosses out. They're just taunting them at the moment. BB, he'll buy him back immediately. He still has another primal split. In fact, he's already thrown 1 out, but he's got 1 more after that. There you go. BDZ, he's got his own primal split going. Why not? Just more splits. There's Palos. He's had enough of this game. He's going after the Ancient with all the magic immunity he has. Surprise, surprise, he says. Eyes blast in. How do you defend? There's another Horn Toss. Another Skewer back. Another RP, and that's it. Execration, after a hell of a series, do finally manage to take this series 2-1 against MY.
Ah, man, a really long set of fights coming out there. Another long game as well from MY and Execration. Drags on till the end. MY, a couple of moments where they bounced back in. They got the die back on Bob, and Raging, it wasn't enough. They just couldn't transition that to objectives. They've had a lot of engagements like that from even game 2, where they win a fight, they can't go high ground, they can't go for tier 2s. And when you can't transition to objectives at that point in the game, those wins don't amount to much. They just reset on the opposing side, they come back in. And because Raging still held on to the triple RP, he still had that option down the line. He just never found the opportunity, which was kind of good for MY and also kind of bad, because it eventually came out. Not the RPs, but the Horn Tosses to control up that Brewmaster. Like, of all things to use, it's the Horn Toss. It was still enough to get that done. Very well played, though, from MY. They bring a really good fight. I think a lot of people didn't peg them out to really get too much from the series. They managed to really make Execration work for every single win. And in their first game, they looked dominating. Like, they held back Bob's puck in a big way. They managed to just get that rolling start off. They tried to replicate that by going back to Seri's LC this time. Not the same result. Slower start for the LC there. The farm war between a Magnus Lifestealer versus Spectre also didn't line up for KNP until way down the line in the game. And at that point, the farm advantage wasn't really a factor anymore, considering the 6 slots were filled up. So MY, they're not out of it yet. They will play the lower bracket up against Lil Gun, if I recall right, and my memory is very bad, but that should be Lil Gun. So correct. MY versus Lil Gun in that lower bracket. They still have that opportunity. We'll see who shows up. Lil Gun is a team that always surprises, but MY today, I think it's fair to say they've surprised us a bit as well.
No, they look very, very good. So with that, that is going to be it for tonight. Of course, we're going to be back for more closed qualifiers for the Lootbet Pro Series Season 7. For now, though, it is MLP Dota and it is johnxfire, and it's been a bit of a long series, so we're going to head off and have some dinner. We'll catch you all tomorrow night. See you then.